Aha! Well, there you go. Apparently, the Stream Deck decided to malfunction there. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I've just been talking to the camera for the last 17 minutes, not having you guys listen at all. It's the holidays. I think I'm allowed one major technical fiasco per season, right? Okay. Let's recap. What you've missed so far is me going out and getting a Badger rifle. It was completely meaningless. Stopping by my inventory to restock myself on elite hand tools. Very nice thing to see. Kind of did a little bit of a walk around, just kind of reviewing what we did last time, such as the little anti-aircraft gun on the outside. And me refilling on all of my oxygen hydrogen bottles, and yeah, pretty much that's it. I'm working away over here on our little production wall here. I've just finished piping in 2 of my boosted assemblers, and we're gonna get another speed module on this one, because as soon as I'm popping these guys in, they're coming online and almost immediately kicking in. So lots of stuff to do there. Sorry about that. I had actually planned to start early, and did start early. And yep, well, I've got the footage recorded at least. That part of it was working, just not the streaming bit. So yeah, I might have to put that out there somewhere. Slight problem, because obviously I can't make, well, actually, let's do this. Let's throw you assembler number 4, which is increasingly mislabeled. We're going to put you in manual, so Izzy will keep her grubby mitts off of it. And see what we can do for cement, which I'm going to need gravel, silicon, and other things I'm not exactly sure are in ready supply here, aside from gravel. Gravel got plenty of. Okay, good. That will start taking care of these guys. Also gonna need to get some cement in there too, or granulated sand soon enough. What I'm doing over here is tipping the ribbed piece on its side, so I can get a nice flat look on that. Another unknown signal keen. I can't get anything out of this unknown signal. Enough with it. Good grief. So what I've got along here is these black, the black blocks here are denoting where the assemblers are going to be set up. And what I'm doing is I'm stacking them in a staggered manner like this. So the next one's going to be having its word. That's word feral today. It's going to have its speed module over here on this side. And there'll be an assembler here. And then the various other modules nestled around it. Yeah, clear a little more up top. And everything, of course, is being piped up through the bottom. So as soon as we get across, we're not too far away from the cargo run here, but it's all coming down here, and I'm being a little creative with my pipes here. I'm gonna dodge and weave them around a little bit, I think, on this stretch, just so it's a little more impressive when you go inside to take a look at this, that it's not just a straight flat run out to here again and down through there. Love the fact you can walk inside these things. It's so nice. Keen, get rid of your own modules and give us that, please. More of that. More of that sort of thing. Because it does look pretty cool. So yeah, happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas. Whatever floats your boat. Not going to get tied up in any of this stuff of, you know, I'm sorry, it's not politically correct, but let's also face it, sometimes politically correct just seems like an excuse to just get pissed off at each other. So let's not do that and accept the tidings in the intention for which they are given. That everyone should hopefully enjoy this time of year. And we'll worry about reflecting back on the previous year next week. Kind of almost bad luck that I'm sitting with this year's stream right on both of the year-end holidays does kind of suck a little bit. Not gonna lie. But I don't really have anything planned, so who really... I mean, that's why I'm still doing all this on YouTube, because it's gonna go to VOD anyways. So everyone can catch up with it, whether they're around or not, because I know not everyone's gonna be around tonight. That's also why I wanted to stream a little bit early. Let's get that manual queue up, and just throw a bunch of alternating stuff in there. That should keep it going. Oh, that's an interesting light highlight on that bit. There's that little red light there, gets this really weird glow around it from that angle, if I'm not looking at it because of the way the base lighting is hitting it. Assembler, switch back to our bright green, go back to our dark green, and speed module the heck out of this thing. Okay, that's 3 fully speed boosted modules, or assembler modules here, versus the ones that are outside. The ones outside I'm probably going to actually kick over officially into manual mode, take them out of Izzy's capability to build with, and probably just actually leave them there. I was debating about yanking them up, but it does lend a little bit of extra detail to underneath the base here, so it's not just plain old flat armor poking around back in that area. And I also need to start thinking about lighting back in this section too, because yeah, that room light is working well, but not perfectly well. Definitely want to see about augmenting some of the lighting in this direction. But in the meantime, we can get rid of these blocks here. And that one. The gray blocks over here are denoting where the marker is for the edge of this wall here. So I'm not going to mirror this design exactly across, but I'm going to kind of be able to get somewhat close to it. I mean, obviously I'm not going to build a giant tunnel out this way, but at least build our support across in this direction. Maybe make it... This might actually not be a bad spot for like a small ship hangar up here too. I could kind of see having, I mean, that being more of the assault ship area, and then like a little cove up here for the other ships. Problem is, it doesn't really fit well with the wall or the ceiling in the rest of the front here. But just to have that there. Okay, actually that doesn't even look too bad. I mean, it's not centered on the beam, but it's kind of a neat little view there. In fact, I might just leave... got some ideas here. Don't know how well they're going to work, but I do see this whole area of the base kind of being walled off, actually. So we do that. The next assembler would be back in here. Come on, get rid of... I have all the stupid little temporary boulders out of the way, please. Thank you, game. Just because you're going to get in the way when I try to build something. Will Father Clangmus be visiting the stream? Well... tell you what. Did happen to bring along a little something to brighten up the base with here. Actually, doesn't look too bad on the corner there. Turn off the suit light. Yeah, that's a good spot for it, actually. It's got just enough light power on it that it kind of helps illuminate the corner a little bit. Yeah, alright. Let's Use a cryopod to soak up energy real quick. Just because that'll be a bit quicker. And thank you very much, Greg. And thank you much to everyone else who's been wishing Merry Clangmas, Happy Holidays, and such. It's much appreciated. I think it'd be very interesting. Oh, let's get the damps on this time, Keen. I know I jumped out of a cryopod, but that's not means to kill me. Silly little game. Alright, speed module lines up in the back corner. And spacebar absolutely rocks for making that quick little mod. Pulling in the tree from medieval engineers. Put that medieval engineers and like completely ignore space engineers on that one. Good job, Keen. Could have had a little bit of... Nope, there's a tiny little pebble here. Tiny little pebble. Can't build here. Nope, tiny little pebble has to disappear first. There we go. Keen in their quote-unquote temporary blocks. It's okay. They'll probably screw that up in the next iteration of the game anyways, whenever it comes out. So there's something to talk about, because obviously I've been heard making some various comments about Atlas, and certainly they did not have a smooth launch, and it is actually kind of nice to see that at least once Shack and Wasted got onto private servers, that they had seemed to have at least a bit better luck in actually being able to do stuff in the game. But yeah, it's still not exactly my type of thing. Especially when I'm looking at, and this is kind of the comment among the same sort of comment among all the folks at the gamers at work, where I work. It's like they're really didn't manage to come up with anything new that's not more like a DLC. So a lot of people are kind of like looking at this one like, okay, it's a little hinky. It's just a reskinned previous version of the game. Doesn't exactly make me very hopeful about what could happen with something like a Space Engineers 2. Yeah, we got to hide both sides of this a little better here. So how do I want to do that? Because you have an archway over here off. Can I get my alignments off? Ah, I did. That arch is actually not there. It's a trap. It's not supposed to be there. You're supposed to be here. Let's actually get the right base color too for that. Is SE still fun for me? Yeah. I mean, here's the weird thing about it. I will rant and scream and rave about how much Keen has done wrong by this game and by its player base. But at the same time, I have to openly admit I'm still playing it. And that's despite what some would consider some pretty industrial grade abuse. Let's be honest here. I mean, I'm only just now finally starting to get designs posted to the workshop. Because now every time I want to go in and do a design, it's not a case of just, okay, hit the upload button. No, I've got to stop, go out of the game, find the thumbnail, quote-unquote, image that the game is saved, and resize it so it's actually compatible with Steam. Because Steam does not allow a thumbnail that is 1080p in size. You know, as in the image is a 1080p image. You can try, and it will fail, fail, fail. And every time it fails, it leaves a blank blueprint, 0 KB, on your workshop. It's set to private, so only you can see it. So you guys haven't been seeing it out there, but every time I go into my workshop, I keep finding more and more things I've tried to upload months ago that are broken. The only way to fix it is to go in, manually edit the image to have a smaller image size. Because I'm running at 4K. for display resolution. And I'm down resing to 1080p for streaming, and I'm down resing to, well, when you take a screenshot, Keen goes through and says, okay, I see you're running at this resolution. I'm going to chop that in down to a quarter of its size, and that will be your thumbnail. Which doesn't work at 4K because then it just chops it down to 1080p, and it's not really a thumbnail anymore. So Steam sits there and says, nope, this thing is too big, either file size or image size, and kicks you out. So that's why there have been no blueprints coming from me in a while. I only just managed to sit down and go through the extra hassle of uploading the extra, well, fixing the images, that is. So now there is a blueprint of the battle chassis for the Battle Pancake. I should say the chassis for the Battle Pancake. A variant on the Cossack for planetary defense, which does not work very well on well, works better on uncooperative, but not perfectly. And what was the other one? The Sleigh Ride is out there as well from the Saturday stream. Not really an uncooperative stream, but it, well, was but wasn't. As weird as it is to say that. I actually put the tree right where that little advertising sign was, and I probably shouldn't have done that. So I want to kind of mirror that sign over there, possibly. That's our opening, and this is going to be a bit tricky. I do have this one terminating on the right block, right? Yep. Right block. Because there's two things I need to work into here. One is lighting. Dear God, please, I need to get some better lighting in here. Let's see if we can find a way to kind of naturally ease that in. I do that. Oh, yes. Actually, I think this is going to work out better than what I was thinking. Downside is it's not going to give me... kind of need those blocks in there manually for now so I can actually support the pieces under them. Oh, Macor's poor little... I mean, let's be honest. That thing was not bad at all for something... For someone with max experience in building ethos, basically, he built something pretty cool. Let's not be mistaken about that. That was definitely a good effort. And I mean, if anyone's going to go on about, oh, well, it wasn't to the rules or anything, well, half the ships that were being built for that weren't to the rules. Neither was what I was building initially. I mean, let's be honest. I wound up stripping about... probably in the end about 10 or 20 small shield generators off of the thing just because, well, that's right, we're only allowed one large shield generator. Let's see, that's gonna maybe eventually finish up. Bob, you gonna... Bob? Oh, hang on. We have our first lighting glitch of this base down. I haven't even added a light in officially. If you look over towards where the reactor is, there's a window frame over that. It is bugging out like crazy. But if I tilt my head a little bit, it stops blinking. If I turn back, it starts blinking. Nope. Yes. No. Good job, Keen. Great job on that lighting. What is your problem? Do you even have... Missing 217 steel plate. Steel plate queued 0 out of 3,000. No. No. Let me guess. Why am I looking there? He's sitting right in front of me here on this display. Steel plate none. Ingots. Iron. Dear friend, I do believe I have plenty of iron for this. Over 100k iron in here, according to that. Are you kidding me? What's going on? Yeah, there's more than enough iron in the ingots container. Why are you saying I've got none? I'm mean, it's not doing anything to even try to weld this stuff up at this point. Alright, what do I have for a problem with the conveyor network? Because this is not all that complicated. Oh, which one are you? Should really get that, Actually, did I add that? I think if I did. If I did, I'm gonna have to put down another programming block for it, and I don't have enough necessarily to support that. I'm out of iron somehow, but not. I'm pretty sure I've got Izzy set up to not auto-sort stuff, so that shouldn't be the problem. Alright, you're gonna need some steel plate. I got enough on me to finish that. I should have... no, don't check code. Browse scripts. Cargo bars. Izzy's cargo bars. This is a rather decent mod that... Put my display over here. Goes through and actually tells you what's in the cargo container right above it. Well, basically you can put a text panel above everything, so you can choose from different styles of what's going in where and whether stuff is full or not. All using the text bars and everything, the text LCDs, the bottom or top LCDs. So I like that approach because I can make that work a lot better, I suspect. So cargo bar will look best on a corner LCD. Stick a corner LCD on a cargo container and add this to its name. I could find the cargo container, so that goes into its name. Alright, I'm going to leave all of that stuff on for now. You're going to complain because there's nothing there. Just because this sort of thing is going to help me pick out where that cargo container is a lot quicker, I believe. And we're going to... It's going to be tricky to do this because obviously I've got these guys right next to each other. So what I'm going to have to do is kind of fudge this a little bit. Except I don't think the game's going to... Oh, you annoying... Keen, why? It's a flat surface, for the love of God. It's the only place you're going to let me put those things, isn't it? So I can't put them down at this level, and they'll just act the same way on all these cars. Alright, we'll just have to... You're empty, you're empty, you're empty. Alright. You've got something in you. You've got something in you. I really shouldn't have to do this. There's the ingots container. So the ingots container is connected in the same exact stack that has all the tools in it, which I know I can pull those through the cargo system. Has all of this stuff in it, which I know is pulling because the cement and granulated sand have been getting built just fine. Huh. Is that out of range, maybe? No, it's definitely not out of range. I could use, and yeah, Black Phoenix, I could use a mod too, but let's be honest, it's kind of cooler if I can just do something like that. Okay, now I know that's components. That's you, and... Yep. There we go. Just because it's a little easier to actually see that I don't have anything full, so it's not like it's run out of inventory space, but why is it not piping? I remember setting this thing up, and everything back behind... And no, before you guys say, that's known, that's intentional, that's there for decoration, it's not meant to actually be a valid cargo going anywhere. I mean, not only that, but those cross over into these. And that's actually how everything over here is connected in. Got the tube under there, tube through here, tube continuing to go that way, out to here. So, it's passing through a bob to do it, but the parts exist. I mean, heck, I should be able to... Did I leave myself an access way into any of this setup? Probably not. I think this was the closest I could get to it. Come on. There we go. Alright. This is the great part because I can visually troubleshoot my cargo issues right now. So this is the access hatch in the garage here. Or the tunnel there. This is the build and repair system that right on the other side should be the path going out to the back of the cargo container. So that's not all... It's fine. And then to go from there over to assemblers shouldn't be a problem either. I mean, I've got the adapter here. Actually, I built that directly into it. Build and repair system there, which that goes out to the other side, eventually over to the garage. So there's nothing here wrong, especially because these have been doing things. And especially once you get over to here. Let's go underneath here. Yeah, I don't have this one wired up yet, but that's okay. Unless it's trying to... You know, Izzy could be having a fit and trying to be doing it in that one specific cargo container. No one said she's optimized for this sort of thing. And then that's the other assembly there. Okay, so I got 2 of the 4 not connected up right, but that's not grounds to screw everything up here for all of this stuff. Bob, you want to finish that one? Thank you. Izzy has been, unfortunately, a bit of a jerk lately. There's no nice way to put it. She has definitely been causing issues across the board, so hopefully when things settle down a bit, then maybe we can get a little bit of TLA or TLC on it. Curved up in that direction. Need the T-shape over this direction. Nope, not that direction. That direction. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually leave an access port on this side. Look at the assemblers. Well, yeah, I mean, really the thing is it shouldn't have been enough to absolutely kill everything, but maybe that was. No, because I'm still not getting any steel plate built into this. None of these are building steel plates. I can hear them working on something, so maybe they... I mean, they're building all sorts of little stuff, because right now all of the assemblers are kind of being forced into cooperative mode. So they're building random stuff, but I don't think it's so much the steel plates. I mean, that's still saying 29 queued up, and it's... Now we're getting 14. Okay. Nope, you guys are right. I did not have... Izzy was getting fixated on using those 2 and causing a nightmare because of it. Yeah, because now those tubes are finally welling up. Alright. I was wrong, you were right. Okay, so we've got that in there. Lighting, lighting, lighting. I still leave the spot on the other side here. Now, I ripped out the spot so I put the room lights in, so what I need is a corner light instead. Just the tiniest bit of accent lights over here should do. Come on, Build Vision. You want to kick in? Yes, no. Any other time I go clicking on something, you will let me do it, but now you're not letting me do it. Lovely. Don't know how Splitsy manages to use that thing without going nuts. Because, yeah, now it's kicked off on the background on me. Fall off and lower the intensity. And hide those lights. Yeah, that's looking a bit better. So I kind of get to maintain the same shape going over there. But it's also pretty clear that that's where that particular setup ends. I just need to do something above this area here. So I need another detail block is what I really need. I feel like I need something new over here that I haven't had before. Access walls. There's just not much for just block variety in walls in the game. Just kind of weird. Could just panel it up with armor paneling. Kind of a cheap, easy way out. I don't think I'm gonna really get much. I mean, except that one's not available on. Yeah, not available on the large grid. Kind of thinking tanks would almost look nice up there, but it needs to be a bit more variety on it. AKA also needs to actually work on a large grid. Let's see. Because I kind of like the idea of... How do we want to do this? Because I want to have these actually somewhat useful. So I'm going to have to connect up some connections above, but... That's the other problem, is I'm pretty sure those were the hydrogens I just put down, but the model's bugged out and still says hydrogen. Don't really need to stockpile oxygen down here, so I guess I might as well just continue with the... Kind of a weird look with the speed module sticking out like that, but... I know it's growing on me. What do you guys think of that? The green is dark enough that it's blending more to black because of the lighting. But at the same time, you're getting a good contrast between the white and the green sections there, between the lighting and the tanks going on. It's cut off just enough light behind this that that's not going to be that big of a deal for it to be in shadow. Problem is I need to pipe up all of those, really. The only way out is literally through. I also need to wire another bob over in this corner of the base too, just to give me a little bit of extra build power back here. Actually, what I could do back here is let's kick out those and borrow some of the conveyor tubes there, the really super round ones. So we'll actually come up with a slightly different use for these guys. Curve and T adapter. I'm going to color code them red because they're carrying a flammable substance. So when done, this is all going to appear to be hooked up behind the scenes, which I can live with that. If I really need to, I can always come back and just add some, armor plate behind everything. Just to give it a bit more backdrop on it. And hopefully those are working. Looks like they're working. Also means I'll be able to set up a hydrogen fuel point down at the runway, so I can actually refuel stuff on the launch pad, basically. Granted, they all say oxygen, which is kind of weird, but eh. Just enough of the piping visible underneath, which I kind of like. Let's get the stuff on this end dealt with real quick. And I apologize for not having something a little more Christmas-y on the music front here. Fortunately, as good as Epidemic Sound is, their acoustic library, you know, stuff that doesn't have a million lyrics pasted all over it, it's not very wide. It doesn't have a wide variety of stuff. Essentially, I think I would... You killed me flying in close... Smack my head from turning around and that's enough to kill me. Trying not to be salty. Trying to be nice, Keen. Trying not to expect to give you a block of coal this year, but you're making it difficult. Alright, let's get my tools back. At least the system would have automatically collected them and taken care of everything for me. Actually, let's also... I've got her set up to automatically trash anything that I don't really need. So I'm not getting a 20 million piece stockpile of... Thank you for turning off my damps too, by the way, game. That was not appreciated. That's right, I was trying to put more stuff back there. Now I got plenty still, which is a good thing, because I do need to still sit down and go through and build that runway, which I know is going to eat up a lot of components. Alright, let's get a buffer here, buffer there, and a buffer here. Just to be complete, let's also make sure we're not going to get any light leaks around the top or the sides. So I do have quite a few blocks on either side that I could do that with the scaffolding. Hey, hot sauce. Mark the tanks yellow and put some LCD screens with the toxic sign. Well, I mean, I could do yellow, but it would kind of blend in a bit more with the hazard stuff there. But you do have a good point regarding the sign. I do have some options in that regards. Something that would... this stand out a bit more, I think. On the dark gray. Really? Interior plate? Can I... Aw, nice. I can just reach the access point right there between the speed module and the tank. And then let's do a standard pillar. Pillar, where are you? Really? Would you... Game? What reason have you come up with this time to not let me place something here? I'm placing this on top of the block, and it's saying I can't place it there. But hey, you want to place it coming sideways off of the speed module, which clearly doesn't connect, even though it wouldn't let me do that over on a cargo. Keen. Why you gotta be like this? Alright, we'll do that, and then up here. There we go. Let's find... So the problem with these the V textures is they don't look very good. They don't really light up all that well. Thrusters, alert. Oh, hey, now you're gonna give me that. Yeah, great. Thank you, game. Show text on screen. Would you like to actually show me the image in the background there, game? Just saying, it would be kind of nice. Because you're clearly not showing anything on the screen here. Is this particular thing broken? Let's remove that one. Why are you reading offline? That's no, actually that's the bigger problem. It's not. This is somehow not getting power. What? Okay, hang on. No, stop relocking your landing gear. Oh my god, you are dropping out of the sky anytime I try to take you out. Would you... Oh, I am maxing out the... What? What are you charging up? You don't have any batteries on your grid. Well, you do, actually. But they're not depleted. Got multiple reactors on this thing. Game, you're scaring me, trying to drop my mining ship, my vertical miner, out of the sky like that. Can we just quickly... It's gonna be one of those days where I say, yep, I know exactly what I'm gonna do as soon as I go into the game. We are working on X, Y, and Z. And I suspect that the game has decided to say, no, bud, you're not doing that. Let's see if we can fit some additional uranium on board. If that'll help, because that's scaring me a little bit when you try to thrust in two directions and it's like, nope. Especially when I've got this song playing in the background. AKA the Space Engineers Outtakes and Bloopers song. Gonna be a nice sunny day, just wait and see. Yep, that's better. Okay. I want to try something here, because this is acting like it's not connected. Which should mean... theoretically, well, that's looking pretty much anchored to me, game. I'm not exactly sure where you're getting this confusion from. Should probably just have the landing gear on this not automatically might as well leave the power on. It's not draining it that badly. Alright, so something's up with that mod, I guess. It's acting like it's anchored, but it's not. Yeah, that's the other reason I generally don't do Christmas music either, is it is easy to get incredibly burned out on it. Okay, so that plan's not gonna work. Could do the big sign, but that's a 3x3 area. It's not going to fit in that area. Yeah, you know what? Since I've got a spot, I can put something right here. At the very least, I know this should work. When Bob welds it in, gonna. Okay, actually that works as just a generic status monitor. Problem is I find the really neat stuff to put in after I want to put in something else differently. Let's just go for traditional LCD panel on the front here then. And switch you over to... Nope, 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 nope. It's not low oxygen. It's a warning yellow. No, it doesn't really... I think it's cute that it's the space engineers and the space engineer is supposed to be the exclamation point, but no, not that one. What do you got? Have something good in here, right? Mid-bay, hangar, generic stuff. Airlock, well, it's not an airlock. Don't really need to have any of the posters in there. Yeah, all you've got is just the warning yellow. Okay, so I guess that'll live there for... You're it until I find something to do better over there. Okay, that's looking interesting now, except for this side's got detail over there to the edge, this one doesn't, so... Need to do something to hide our wall, and also at the same time need to start thinking about getting the minions in place again. Because the minions demand it. Catwalk. Blue. Nope. Yellow. Actually, no, because you're flat against... Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that in until I get the wall pieces in. So I guess we'll do those first. And that looks like the top of it, so that's all I really need. Girders! Girders! Don't need no stinking girders. Okay, directly against the wall section, and then that means I can now do all the stuff that comes off of that. That's not the right piece there. It's tricky getting the alignment just right on this. And then to get the belt, you have to turn it 90 degrees like so. And just repeat your alternating pattern. Great thing about an the elite grinder is you can almost be quick enough to outpace Bob. So that actually is a setting in Bob on the delay. So if you do want him actually going a bit quicker, you can. Thank you, game. You can do that in the configuration file. So there's actually a configuration file you can set up for Bob that lets you auto set the various presets on him. So when you plop down a Bob, he's automatically configured. It is a very nice thing to learn how to modify. And Mr. Space indeed has that for uncooperative survival now, so hopefully the next time we start placing Bobs down, we should be good. There we go, minion wall. So easy, such a simple little detail, and yet it lends so much to this map. See you, Blackjack. Hope you have a good holiday season. Good holiday season. It's so flippin' ridiculously awkward to try to figure out what to say for that sort of thing. Have a happy whatever. And if you're not having a happy whatever, find a way to have a happy whatever. I did build that one too far forward. Crud. But that works out for me in this case, because I can do a little bit of creative blocking off here. That will blends in not too bad. Just a little bit of a different shape on that. I mean, it doesn't line up perfectly with this, but you have to get in a pretty awkward corner to see that change there. Yeah, I said I wasn't going to build on that row, and then what did I do? I built on that row. But you know what? That's a happy little accident. We can work with that. I'm not going to let that one drag me down. Do is take the mistake and make it my own. By which I mean we're going to there we go. So whereas that side is more visible out in the open, this side makes it a little more... Yeah, maybe I do want to actually just do a half block there. What are we breaking today? I'm hoping nothing. Really, I am hoping nothing, because I would just like to have everything in the game keep working and not have a holiday disaster like the old Cyberhounds. Don't really need a return of those, Keen. Thank you very much. Not on the holidays. Not you're all going to walk out of the office and not give everyone the opportunity to turn those damn things off. I mean, really, it's kind of the funny thing. You start talking about the game and where it's going and what is happening to it, and everyone's got their own different ideas to how space engineers should continue or not continue, yada yada yada. And the funny thing is a lot of people don't seem to... It's one of the biggest challenges that you've got with something like space engineers is you're looking at a sandbox game. So people are going to play it how they want to play it, and they're going to want the game to be developed how they want it to be developed. I mean, when you look at something like what Wasted's looking for, which is about 1,000,001 different things, versus what your casual everyday player is going to be wanting and expecting, versus what the vast majority of the folks playing the game want, it's going to be different. Everyone's going to have their own opinions on how the game should be played. And I think it's kind of what's making those the surveys that Keen supposedly wanted everyone to fill out. It's kind of makes those a little bit of a funny moot point, because everyone's going to be telling them to do different things. Some people are going to want more PvP out of the game and more difficult enemies, and some people are going to be saying, well, there's nothing like progression in the game. You basically can blitz through the game. I mean, yeah, I got lucky and took down a ship that had a lot of stuff on it, but there's it's just too easy to advance too quickly, so they want the game kind of stretched out, which is exactly what a casual player like me doesn't, because on the occasions where I'm managing to play, I'd like to actually be able to play the game and not grind forever, which is why you're probably not going to see me picking up Atlas anytime soon. Just saying, because, you know, I've been watching some of the stuff that Wasted and Shaq have been streaming on it, and it does not seem to... I don't think it's going to be one of those games that tickles my fancy, so to speak. As much as I like a good pirate game, if I've got to spend 6 hours teching up from basic bare bones ship to, or, you know, well, not teching up a... If you've got to spend 6 hours getting through the game and getting to the point where you're just doing nothing but gathering rocks and leaves and twigs during that time, just so you can build a, you know, a modest little ship. Yeah, it's not really up my kind of game avenue, which is ironic me saying that, because that is kind of to an extent what Factorio is like. You're spending all this time just trying to improve the way that you can do things, but somehow that one just engages me a bit better than something like a long, drawn-out survival. I mean, like, for instance, I could very easily go play around with something like Minecraft's Project Ozone, or I could even go all the way back. I'd occasionally pop in and do a little bit of Agrarian Skies too, and they're fun, but they're draggy. They take forever to do, and when you're getting 2-3 hours of gaming a night in, it's not really... doesn't really leave you that kind of satisfied, hey, I got to have fun tonight feeling. It's like, I feel like I just spent the last 2 hours and got absolutely nowhere kind of feeling. Which is also the reason why I don't do, I've tried solo slooping and Sea of Thieves, and yeah, it's not exactly for me either. But I am unique as a person, so, you know, everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to want their own different stuff in the game, and unfortunately, I think Keen's at the point where what they really need to do is just acknowledge, okay, we can't be the best for everyone without screwing up stuff for everyone else, so let's just let this whole thing come to its natural conclusion, please, and let all interested parties move on to the next big thing. Well, and that's just, you know, Loser Illusion, I hear you 100% on that, and I will admit I was very negative on the developers when they launched that was the case. Because if you're going to do something like that, really, the problem I have is they've taken something which really appears to, that really should have been more of another DLC, but the problem is that companies like, and I'm going to have to harp on Paradox for this, unfortunately, and EA's, well, really, originally you can blame Maxis and The Sims for this, but yeah, it's, a lot of people are just getting tired of constant DLC, and it's like, okay, well, I'm paying full price for a game that's not really a new game, and to some extent, I can understand that they want to you know, to basically... If this had been a DLC for Ark, the problem is you wouldn't have necessarily been attracting new players to the game because, oh, well, Ark is that dinosaur game. And you see it and you don't think, oh, it's actually it can do many other things. At the same time, though, if you're going to recycle your content, I mean, even Keen managed to twig around the Minor Wars assets a bit when they went with it for the base for space engineers. So, you know, it's unfortunate that it's kind of like that they very clearly just kind of recycled the game, and it makes it unfortunate when you couple that with the big issues that they've had starting. And it's like, well, this is already based off a pre-established game. Why has it been crap on launch? That's the bigger thing. It has not really, I feel, they definitely they botched the launch the worst I think you could possibly botch it, really. Well, I mean, let's be brutally honest here. But, I mean, the other thing is to keep in mind, this is also a pirate game that, in the trailer, has a horse somehow jumping 100 feet across the distance between two ships on a boarding action. No. At least inject a little bit of realism into that, please. It may look cool, but come on, that's almost literally jumping the shark there. You've got a bit of rock up here. Oh, no, it's okay. We'll get you out of the way there. It's not exactly an ideal ceiling transition here, but I do want this part of the cavern to look a bit more open, at least. Trick is now I've set myself up for needing another band of white on that side. That, it's also that lovely time of day that I need to change around the lighting manually, because, yeah. Okay, hang on, guys. I need to go take care of something real quick, so I will be right back. Leave you with that little bit of a view here. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Ran out of water to drink, and my throat was starting to get a bit parched there. Let's turn those HUD signals off and fix this, please. There we go. Now the base is properly lit again. So that carves off that side now. That looks good. This side, concrete stays down there, so I have to actually pattern some concrete through here. Yeah, I mean, it's reusing assets from a game before. You know, that's not that big of a deal. I mean, otherwise, you know, if you start nitpicking on that, then you start having to go into, like, the Lego franchise. Because it's not like the Lego games themselves are always different in every possible way. No, there's a lot of stuff that they're carrying over between the various editions of that game, let's be honest. I mean, you have to kind of take that one with a bit of a, you know, what's the word I'm thinking of? Grain of salt. No, very much my concern at that point is really, it's like they they've taken something and not really developed it when it should have been developed and made a bit more unique. It's, I mean, when you look at something like the Steam store, yeah, this is going to be a bit more noticeable on this side, isn't it? Got a fix for that. That'll work. Let's change your... I didn't want to do that. Thank you, Keen, for putting that stupid control in the worst possible spot. Let's, I mean, really, what I would have made the launch a little more interesting for me would be, let's kind of make it look like maybe there's something that might be tucked around here, a bit of a hiding spot. It's not going to be a perfect setup, but it's going to be pretty close. Yeah. I mean, really, if they had wanted to... what they've kind of done is they've painted themselves in the same corner of what happens every time a game gets popular, and about a year after the release of that popular game, there are about 6 clones of it on Steam. Like voxel construction games. So there's a lovely glitchy lighting effect there as well. Look at that sign. Thank you, Keen, for not fixing your game. This is gonna be a tough one. This corner and getting the roof down. And, of course, figuring out the rest of this cavern. Actually, also kind of thinking... having a room lamp and... running it in reverse off the back of that. Ooh. Oh, I kind of like that look. So there you go. There's another use for the room lamp, is actually setting it underneath and letting it shine up too. Doing a pretty good job of that. It does feel like they, for something, for everything you want to say that, okay, it's Ark reskinned, well then, really it shouldn't have been that big of a problem for their go-live process. It should have been very easy for them to nail everything down and have it running in the first place. If it's that much of a different concept that you're only leveraging part of your assets, then they've kind of taken the cheap way out on that. I mean, I get that there's only so many ways that you can add a second tail to or a second set of limbs or some spiky bits to animals, but come on. I mean, they could have just called this Ark the Next Generation, realistically. Let's really put that down to what we've got here. But it is what it is, and to each their own, and if it's not the thing for me, I'm sure there are many other people who will be happy to play it. I mean, I didn't really get into the original Ark at all either, so... Full disclosure, I am somewhat not a fanboy of the of that particular genre. I mean, I'll watch it, but pretty soon my eyes start getting glazed over. And okay, and this is... How many times have you had to go out and get the plant fibers again to do this one simple thing that you're gonna do, and then have to repeat it again and again and again? And no. I start getting traumatic flashbacks of crop tending in agrarian skies. Alright, now I gotta try to get this crop up to 10 by 10 by 10 in AgriCraft so I can actually do something at a decent speed. How am I gonna tie this together? You go all the way up to the ceiling. You go up on both sides. Trying to figure out what to do here, guys, and it's a somewhat dark area, so putting too much detail up here won't help. I'm kind of thinking of hauling out our good old standby. Because, let's be 100% honest, modules tend to make some pretty interesting greeble points. Yeah, let's put the yield module, because also, it's not like we're using these anywhere else in the build process, so... And as far as a expense goes, it's not that bad. The bigger problem is the fact that they're all lit up red because they're not actually connected to anything, but I could honestly fix that with a refinery that's locked so Izzy wouldn't try to be pulling in and out of it. Or I could potentially even legit put refineries up there if I wanted to. I think that kind of gives it a bit, especially the red glow coming off of that. So now I've got the red glow from the trench there and the red lights up top. So I think that kind of works. Yeah, and loser illusion. Don't you know? Like I said, don't get me wrong that I'm bashing Ark or anything. I mean, like I said, it is definitely kind of a to each their own game. I mean, it's just like I used to play Minecraft a lot, and now I don't so much because, well, I don't really have 1,000,001. I still play it, but I don't have 1,000,001 hours to put in it for doing all of the, the construction and everything that I could do before. So. That, and I also started getting burned out on it too, unfortunately. It was a lot of grinding when I started trying to take on doing multiple series. And unfortunately, when you can't kind of focus on one at any given time, it makes filming pretty darn difficult. And it becomes a case of, well, I finished this part of this project over here, but I haven't finished that piece over there, and... Nope, 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 you don't belong there. Managing to hit all the wrong keys on the keyboard today. Keyboard foo is weak. And then, it's just like, Minecraft isn't for everyone either, It's got its appeal, and some people just don't like it, and, I get that too. But I mean, the other thing is also, let's also be 100% honest here. I also tend to get turned off of games that are going to do weird things like, they let Wasted get away with the Slender Man, which is amusing, but at the same time, it's like they actually put development hours in on this thing. It doesn't look like it. And okay, fine. Well, they've given you a character who is hideously and grotesquely... Here, actually, backup block. We need to... You got a character who's hideously malformed, but his field of view on the world is the same as if he wasn't. It happens. I mean, it, what can I say at this point? Not my game, so I should be holding back on the salt on that. There we go. Pair up the last of that. Except if I were doing a traditional roof, I would not be able to light it up at all. With the way this is set up, I'd have corner lights at either end of that, and the recessed areas, and it just wouldn't look right. That's actually looking pretty decent. Happy with this. I mean, it's starting to feel like a legit structure now. Granted, it's unfinished on this side, but Let's grab those curved pieces. That's the bottom part of the minion. Is that the top piece? I don't think that's... it's down a little further, isn't it? Oh, it is so confusing to know if I've got the right size here or not. Guess I do, though. I know I am absolutely triggering a half-dozen people right now watching. But wait a minute, no, you've got that whole thing off by one block in the wrong direction. I know. And that popping sound you just heard was a paradigm shifting without a clutch. It's kind of like the whole idea of you take something and you intentionally do something wrong with it. You intentionally break it. You intentionally leave something flawed within it. And it's there just as a reminder that not everything is perfect.
Energy low.
Energy low again? Okay, fine. I'll turn my light off. Right. Yep, we messed that one up too. These aren't the blocks I'm looking for. Slender Wasted was creepy and obviously not the right height, right of his... Yeah, that definitely... I mean, but then again, I mean, you name one game that hasn't had something weird go on with it. I mean, like, for instance, let's go to Kerbal Space Program. You've got the Kraken effect of spaghettification, which is where your character just gets all manner of stretched out, which is similar to the Crazy Legs thing in Space Engineers, where your limbs just suddenly start spazzing out for no reason whatsoever. Which, to some extent, I'm still, to this day, convinced that's a programmer's joke somewhere. I almost want to say that somewhere at Keen, someone's getting a really good laugh out of some little practical joke they slipped in the code. Let's see. Gearbox. The minion army continues to grow. It's funny how it's just such a simple little thing, it's such as turning a block is all that you need to actually pull this off. This is the kind of stuff that I wish the game had more compound block capabilities for. Because you could probably do some pretty slick things. You could properly combine multiple blocks together. There we go. The minion army has been assembled. At least in case a Kerbal might be able to land on their head and not expire. Well, yeah, the Kerbal landing gear is very much a well-documented effect in Kerbal Space Program. Next part of the hangar, and it's got to be kind of the back end of it. Well, isn't that a tough one? I'll admit, I'm kind of not really flush with ideas on this one. Funny thing, even when the walls aren't properly set up, the roof line is still symmetrical. Banana! Let's see. Alright, if we're gonna do this, then theoretically what we need is some sort of line going back along the entrance here. Oh, that's interesting. I can't... What? In what universe does this make sense? Oh, right, the temporary blocks. Keen, please get rid of those. Just want to be able to put a block down when things are done. Not have to wait 5 minutes for it to roll out of the way because you've decided that physics must be adhered to for something that I'm right-click drilling to be in a way of telling the system to not bother with it. I am trying to help optimize your game through my gameplay behavior. I guess that's really extent for that. Because that'll keep the catwalk line flowing naturally through the back. Well, that's the other thing is when you talk about Atlas, so you're talking early access. Okay. Here's the problem I've got with early access at this point. Yes, you can say that, well, it worked for Minecraft. You can say that it worked for RimWorld. It looks like it's going to work out pretty well for Factorio. For Space Engineers, I would give it about a 50-50. Mostly because of decisions made during the development that very clearly did not work out that well. But then there's just other games that are like, why? It becomes very obvious that it's like, oh, we're going purely for the hype. And if you're thinking about early access purely for the hype, you're doing your early access for all the wrong reasons. Beyond all the wrong reasons. I mean, the whole point to early access is this is your opportunity with your player base in front of you, your potential player base, to take their feedback and listen at what they would like to see in the game. To give them a vision of what you've got so far in the game, what you're thinking of doing, and match it with your player base. Because then once you're ready to go live, you're ready to get out of early access. That's the point where you want your player base to be, who've been really engaged in the whole process, to be sitting there saying, yep, we are absolutely 100% fans of the game. Everyone should go out and buy it. It's been great. Developers have been doing a really good job with the game and really helping to grow it. That's what you want your hype to be. You don't want your hype to be, well, yeah, they just put this thing out there and they just said they need more money to develop it, and it's really kind of gone nowhere and it absolutely sucks. You do not want that for your early access game because, yeah, no one is going to want to buy it. And Atlas really, that's where they really shot themselves in the foot. It's like, okay, they'd had a somewhat decent launch for early access. It might have been okay, but I mean, this was akin to every possible disaster in the book, and I'm kind of interested to see if the developers are actually going to have the guts to kind of come forward and explain what happened to the player base, because I'm not really. I would like to know. I mean, what the heck? They had so many delays in getting the game off the ground past what they said was going to be the initial launch date. It's like, okay, well, out of curiosity, guys, could you tell the folks at home why you've had to delay? Because you want a sympathetic audience and not an audience that's like, hey, you're shafting us over. All the publicity that they've gained off of this early access at this point is all negative now. How does that look if I have... Oh, look at the way that lights up. Oh, yes. I am liking how this is looking. Oh, and Subnautica, yep. Yeah, and, you know, there's another game I haven't played that I'm, you know, it's always kind of an on-the-fence type thing. But yeah, Subnautica is another example of a game that has gone through and done pretty well with the early access type setups. Prison Architect is another great example. I mean, that one went through early access and came out a pretty rock-solid game as far as I'm aware of. So I kind of... You know, it's one of those... What was their motivation for going for early access? And I think that's where you find out the... Oh, well, we were just doing this because we need some more money to develop it. And no. You don't do that with early access. You do your early access to develop the game with your players in mind. Am I thought Keen resolved that bug with the, where if you land a certain way, your gyros go out of kilter. For a second there, it was not lining me up properly, I swear. Oh, look at that. That's perfect. Oh, I'm loath to even take down the stone around that thing now. But I want to, because I want to get another frame along that edge. I'm going to be very careful when I go at the stone here. Because I want to kind of keep some of this natural look, and it's going in... Actually, no, I don't want to do another... No, don't do another branch, because that's going to... That's going to get into the slant on that thing, and that's... Oh, yeah. Keeping it. We're keeping that. We will find out what we're going to do along here. Should really break out the, no, I don't have that much more to remove. Just thinking about breaking out the drill ship. The horizontal drill ship, just to help get rid of some of the... smooth out some of the base here. Yeah, base and the rough edges there. Does it look still... No, you're too far over here. There we go. I mean, it's weird. I'm almost actually... I feel like I'm actually branching out into a completely different architectural look here. Ooh. Oh, and absolutely a crazy KLP Hunter. There are developers who are doing this right. Like, for instance, BattleTech. The open beta period for that, they did a phenomenal job of... You know, keeping up with the player base, and they've continued to do so even after the game has gone live too. Where it's why they did the revamp in 1.3 for the skills, because they realized that the player base is like, well, okay, we've kind of figured out that there's stuff in the game that the only reason we take it is because we absolutely have to have it for the final missions. That without it, you really don't stand a chance of surviving those missions at all. So that's why they redid all of the BattleTech abilities, and it's actually the second time they've kind of rebalanced the game to that extent. So it's great when you've got a developer who is engaged with the player base and saying, okay, let's kind of you and me, let's work together and figure out what we're doing here. Problem is there's other developers who just go through the motions, and unfortunately, I've got to say this Keen is one of them. It's just blatantly obvious at this point that really the powers that be, anything you're seeing for feedback, it's just almost a, oh, well, we're just doing this to get you guys off of our back kind of move, it feels like. That's like, okay, yeah, well, if we set up a survey and then say to people, yeah, fill out the survey, and oh yeah, we're listening, and we've given you this great feedback site, and then ignore the feedback site, or have your developers solicit folks who have demonstrated flaws on YouTube, and then not reply back to them when you give them every possible way to, you know, identify what's gone wrong with the game. H2's almost out. Haha, outfoxed you. Fuel is low. No, it's not. 8% left. I'm fine. Alright, that corner is turning up pretty okay. Kind of thinking I can potentially repeat some of this on the walls back here. And one of the reasons why I want this back area to kind of be a bit bigger than the hangar, as far as like a height and width area, is one of the things that a lot of people will do with a hangar is they'll, yeah, you can pull straight in, but it's not very easy sometimes to pull straight out. So I'm leaving myself a little room in here to actually be able to turn ships around in here. It's kind of my my modus operandi for that. I think what I can do, remember, the living quarters are going to have an entrance over here. So what we'll do is plan ahead for a 3-wide separation here. By which I mean there'll be something built out to the wall there. And halfway... do I want to just kind of bite the bullet and kick it forward again? I mean, I guess this side is kind of wider as a walkway than this side, which is really supposed to be an area you're always going to be walking in. Let's bump it out by that. So that would be there. So
Energy low.
oh, good grief, and now energy. I swear there's something that has happened with my mod setup here that's causing the suit lights to become a massive power drain. Well, the same thing, you know, that ties into what I was talking about earlier, Kimball, is... excuse me. Hang on a sec. Cough mute. When you get to a sandbox game, there's so many different ways to play it, and one of those, obviously, is story-driven. So you can have a Minecraft, you know, like, for example, one of the big things of if you're competing on a Zombie Cleo build contest is you want to have some sort of story being told by your build, because Cleo is very big on the whole, on having a story and telling a story with what you're building. Let's see if I don't anchor that, it's gonna look wrong. Yeah, it's gonna be... Go. Ah, almost. This is just the slightest bit off. No, don't. I think they've made that a bit pickier now than it used to be. Come on, game. I want to build a block here. And, you know, like, same thing with space engineers. You can, I mean, group survival is an excellent demonstration that you can tell some absolutely amazing stories using space engineers as the media. But the problem is if you start optimizing the game to do that, then you're taking away from optimizations for the game in other areas. Like, yes, there's absolutely no reason why there can't be a mirror mode in single player for building, but at the same time, if you're... Oh, come on, Keen. This is infuriating, honestly. That right-click drilling does this. Come on. Thank you, game. Let's continue that up. I'm gonna kind of match that same sort of ribbing on the side here, if I can. In fact, this one I probably do need the horizontal miner for. Come here. Knew I left you on for a reason. Especially since I had to drill a entry into this area anyways. Well, and that, and for that matter, living quarters up here too. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Or lots of mine stone in this case. And yeah, you guys are absolutely right. With a sandbox game, you can do great storytelling, you can do content that is compelling, you can do gameplay content that's compelling. There's a lot of options when you start talking sandbox games, and that's one of the things that's great about Minecraft and about Space Engineers is the fact that you have this core experience, but you can mod it. And that is why it has always been a case of, and will continue to be a case of, that I'm saying the worst thing that Keen has ever managed to do as part of early access has been to regularly, absolutely piss off and alienate the modding community. I mean, you're kind of shooting the people who are giving you an engaging game in the foot for half your player base. And Keen just has not learned the lesson that you have to... Modding is not a thing that's really optional in most games these days. If you've got good modding capabilities, you're going to attract a lot more players than you would normally. I mean, SimCity 4 is another great example of a game that has been around forever because of the fact that there are mods, and they are very robust mods in the case of SimCity. Games not so much, but I mean, at this point, it's because the game is being forced to do things in no way that it was ever expected to do. Put it off the side here. Don't want to take too much off of this. How's that look? That should... Oh, I think I nailed that just right on the depth there. Yep. Perfect. So that will stretch right up to the ceiling here, and it starts to tip in at that point. Ooh, surprise cough. It ambushed me from around the corner. Wasn't expecting it. Ceiling's gonna be another matter through here. And actually that's because I'm continuing that curve and I shouldn't. It is a 1 deep curve only. Go, and will that tie in? Yeah, I can continue this along. Oh, I mean, that's the other problem, is when now you get to the other side of the modding argument, and it's like, okay, you got folks who are developing the game want to make money off of the modding of the game, which, you know, you're asking people who are... It's one thing for a company to reward them, and to some extent, Keen certainly tried that. But at the same time, you got to be careful how you're doing it too, because you don't want to be accused of being unfair, or, well, this person's always getting all the modding, and I can, you know, I did one little tiny little mod, and it's nothing, but this guy who's got like an entire team working with him to do it is getting tons of stuff. It does kind of suck. I mean, it does get a bit of favoritism in it, but... how do I want to... It's kind of an opposition of the architectural elements here, because I've got the... On the left side of the screen, I've got the archway. So all of the angles are pointing upwards. And on the right side, now they're all kind of diving downward and inward. How am I going to cross the corner here is the next question. So, how do I want to cross a corner with shapes? Oh boy. Would realistically point out to continuing that. Because I'm getting a feeling like this needs to be a curved shape coming out here. And welcome, Theo. So it's not like, if it's a community thing where you're letting the community pick, okay, here are the mods that we like and everything. As opposed to space engineers who basically just goes out and their PR people are very clearly just grabbing whatever's on the workshop and you know, again, while they're managing to focus on some good mods that way, they're also focusing on some rather ridiculous ones, let's be honest. And that's not supposed to be a slight against the mod developers either. I've got to come back here if I do that and hollow out the corner. That's not going to work. Just thinking, tuck it in to get the corner, but I don't think that's going to work out. In fact, these are actually... This is off back in here for... It feels like it's off. No, that's actually right. Okay. So I could do something like that, I guess. And then what we would see would be... Let's just kind of sketch this out. Well, as much as I can in that state. It kind of holds up the corners if I do that, which works, kind of. Alright, we'll continue that over that way. And tip on the corner. Yeah, I'm gonna need to clear up more of the roof. Clear up more of the roof or disguise it in some way. It's back in a dark corner, which I kind of like. And we could really kind of go all out on doing some little bits of stuff here and there. Put a module in there just so it looks like it's going somewhere. What else have we got that I can play around with here? Oddball stuff. Like the knick-knack corner of the base, basically. Don't know what the broken light projector was, but... Ramp. We could... Fit in shield flux coil. Yeah, it doesn't really fit unless I drill out that bit there. Come on, Keep, get rid of your temporary crap here. The funny thing is they've even gotten rid of, and I don't know what patch they got rid of it with, thank you. There's the button, the noise. That, oh, you can't build that here. Got rid of that. I don't know why. Shield components 8. Well, you'll burn through whatever there. I can afford to spare a few shield components. Let's find... I think that might work out pretty well is take a button panel, flip that upside down so it looks like we got some bracing for it, and then I want to put an arc furnace in because that really does need to legit be somewhere else. Where is what I'm thinking of? I've got the block at the tip of my head and I can't remember which one it was. Actually, I might be able to do... just a little bit of... Let's see, that's going to tip it into the curve. We don't want that. The problem is this particular block was not exactly meant to be quite like this. Reversed? No, I don't want that reversed. I want... There we go. Give... doesn't really work well for supports there, but... another block that might. Something fancy that looks kind of like a bit of a support. Can't fit anything in there. Oh, I really would love to have some compound blocks right now. Blocks inside of other blocks. My plans for Christmas, not really much. Just stay in and enjoy having a day off from work, pretty much. My Christmas was back in Thanksgiving, actually, because it's on a good day, a 5-hour drive down to the rest of my family where they live, so getting together every holiday this season unfortunately is not really realistic. Holiday travel is just a royal pain in the butt and where I live, so ooh, I could actually... I can't place it there because the game is being an utter dink, but it's gonna look weird when that gets in. Alright, game, let's give you a test. What happens? No, you don't like it there. Darn. This is the only place I can anchor that particular block along this entire stretch. Unless I build it into... Let's see if I lose... Nope, you're good. Let's just do... Don't need it really to look like a tube. Just kind of suspend our cabling so it's supports that are going into the wall even though you can't really see it from this angle. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. Maybe I can put some catwalk in there, possibly. I mean, some of the real catwalk, basically. Just to give it that little bit of extra hint that there's something up there. Even though it's not connected. I could do some really fun stuff. Actually, it's interesting that that's not showing up as a complete run. Let me get this anchored first. Because if I don't, it's going to drop and fall, and I'm not going to be a happy camper. That should help me when I get rid of this block. You just have to do a straight up conveyor block on this, or conveyor junction. Maybe I can get away with the IR. What do you got here? So if I put that in there... Actually, that doesn't look too bad. Just kind of want to have that little bit of sense of detail that there's something back here. I want to get rid of the shield module, though. That's kind of... Yes, okay, that's better. Let's also give pipework some color here. You're... Bob! You annoying little pain. Before I could even get one down, you're like, nope, I'm gonna take it away from you. Let's see if we... Nope, no. That direction. I mean, you would think that that and that would connect and it would have been perfectly happy, but no, apparently not. Alright, gets rid of that. You drop off like so. And we continue. Find something for our good conveyor tube to go into, even though it's not going to do anything. This is a goes nowhere, does nothing block. I think... Yep, that will work. This is what happens when you let a ferro loose to start greebling. Just little oddball things start showing up, and why are you not green? Because those conveyor blocks don't actually act as anything. They probably just act as plain old... Yeah, they're not like a cargo or conveyor tube normally. So annoyingly, I still have to do something like this on both ends. We'll tuck a little bit. I can get back here without taking out the front. Perfect. That should be enough to give it a green on both ends. There we go. That one I am being picky on and saying I want that to have green so it looks like it's functional. So now it looks like we got a little bit of extra detail there, so now I can start thinking about what to drop down in this section. Unless you suspect someone to get close up, the simple illusion will work. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. There's no way I'm going to get this to work perfectly. It would require a compound block, or for this thing to have the hangers that would stretch exactly all the way to the edge, and it just wouldn't look right. I mean, just like the underneath these cables doesn't look right either. There's a support there that's supposed to be resting on a block. Well, it's not in this case. But those pipes are goes nowhere, does nothing anyway, so... They're there purely for extra detail. In fact, what I should also be doing is... You've got your lights on. Let's back you out a little bit here. There we go. You know you've got confidence in the shape of your base when you can walk away and let your ships drift out of control behind you. And know you're not going to hit anything. What to put in this corner? This corner is calling out for something big. It's Calling out for another tank, honestly. I mean, like, proper large hydrogen tank, if anything. And I could actually build it up off of that cargo system, but... the game is acting like it wants to put something in here for me, so let's encourage it a little bit. I'm going to stick some blocks behind the scenes there. So that will place in and not be removed, because that's attached to everything else, but it's not attached. I can run some conduit down from here if I wanted to. Let's do... these, and we'll borrow our red hydrogen warning again. So that way, if I actually do wire those things up, it'll legit be a functional part of the network. Let's see. Kind of works. It needs... there's something more this thing needs. I'm trying to figure out what it is, but it's not coming to my mind right now. I'm tempted to say interior light somewhere. I don't know if I can actually really do much with anything there. Can't hide one on top of the tank except there. And that would have the downside of lighting up the corner a bit too much. Tell you what, I'm going to leave that one as is. Let's figure out our living quarters up here. Get that finally taken care of, shall we? Because that's been waiting for a while. Because we've got a lovely kind of view from up here. If I get up on the windowsill and look down. That's not too bad. A good view. What the? Oh. Half block. Keen. I did not want to do a half block there. I wanted to do a whole block. But how are you to know that? Because you can't read minds. Oh, if only they could. Probably would have been arrested by now if that were the case, but yeah. Not looking too bad. I can duplicate that look. It's funny, that actually is going to give me a very interesting interior look here. Let's find wall. Call, I use that block. Nope, wasn't that one. Which one are you? Basic wall 3. That is what I picked. Game, I've got some splaining to do. Ah, there's this side. There's the magic side. There's one side I want out of that block, and that's the one. Alright, 7 in. Just like that wall because it's got texture to it. It doesn't look like a straight up static wall. Let's think about some, I was gonna say, Bob, you're not running out of parts again on me, are you? It's not a lot that you really need to worry about here. We need some furniture. That means I finally get to roll out some of the stuff that's been sitting out here for the longest time, waiting for me to actually get around to putting in some interior equipment here. So we've got a nice enough, I can't place it right up next to it because it's a thinner wall, but... oh yeah, actually, that looks like a perfect orientation for that chair. What do you guys think? Chair and table go sideways? counter in sync. I think that would kind of work out nicely there. What else we got to play with? Could technically use the galley blocks, but they're almost a little too gaudy for this in ways, and it's gonna block the wall texture if I throw that in there too. I don't want to do that. I want to see through what I'm building here. We do need a fridge. Don't need a double fridge though. That's kind of going a little overboard. A single fridge will do. Oh, Dead Tech, you and your crates for your build states. Don't ever stop doing that, because that's just amusing. So, coffee machine, sure. Don't drink it myself personally, but sure. Prefer my caffeine chilled, not shaken. Pool table just so I have something to do. You do not want to choose any other color than that blue, apparently. Let's also start thinking about ceiling in here too, because that needs a bit of attention. Well, if I do... It's gonna be tricky on that side. Is it? Or is it not? You aren't actually an outward-facing block, I believe. Yep. And there's the full inventory. Alright. Bring back that motif on that wall. I feel like this is almost turning into like a 70s apartment here at this wall design. Don't ask me why. I'm old, but I'm not that old. Ceiling, 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 ceiling. I'm actually thinking about bringing the ceiling down a bit. Putting in something like this. So it's not an overly open area, but it's still open enough. Because that helps to cut down on the tiling that I'm having going on here. And also gives me an option to do some potentially recessed lighting in here. Because that's item number uno on the items to tackle at this point. Yeah, if I was going to go for 70s, actually, it needs shag carpet in here somewhere. It's that simple. Let's see. I mean, as far as a relaxation room, let's also throw... I don't really need a mess hall table. That's a little too involved for being kind of for a one-person setup here. What else we got? Computer desk, just cause, you know, I could see this being a little bit of a spot where, okay, someone's gonna come in and play some games or whatnot. Oh, this is definitely working for me. Alright, let's clear out the rest of this gunk here. And this gunk. Go. And I need some doors in here because I need to close off a little bit of sleeping space here. Advanced double door, private. Did I even put a... No, I didn't put a... Nope. I did not put any facilities for actual use here. That's gonna suck. Alright, you are dead center, so I need a wall unit that's gonna be centered. Which is gonna be a problem when I do here. Come on. Come on, Bob. Bob? Thank you, Bob. I think I'm just gonna go for... doing that straight up. Should work. Then you should, somewhere in here. Make this the main egress area there, and a very small, cramped living area here, but yeah. All these guys are edges. We don't want to work with those. Interior pipe wall we don't want. Interior console wall. I could potentially work with it. And if I switch over to the offset doors, that might actually help. So let's do that. Don't care. The inventory is just going to drop on the ground. Bob will pick it up for me. Doors, doors, doors. Offset door, please. That's looking a bit better. And door, offset. Well, I guess Captain's Quarters technically applies to this one, doesn't it? Actually do that, and then grab that, so it'd have to be the white wall. But I need you for this corner. Basic wall. Basic wall. Guess we'll do basic wall there. Keep the same look. But I mean, it's an underground base. It's gonna have things like conduits and whatnot overhead, so nothing is gonna line up perfectly here. Gonna be low bulkheads all over the place, so this actually works out pretty nicely. Yeah, where is the TV? Well, I do have the TV in here. Just, let's see. Oh, I like that door. I so like that door. Even if Dead Tech does have me a bit worried because it's got the detonate command right next to it. Part of the charm. Entirely part of the charm. I think I should be able to fit you. I mean, it's not going to have a unnecessarily comfy couch to watch it from, but, you know, if you're sitting here having, well, not from that chair at least, but can't sit in that chair. But, you know, you could still watch something. That's just the Media Center PC for it. That's all. It's a very powerful Media Center PC. Let's also grab the bed. Done. Alright, and then... oh, it's going to look a little weird if I don't... Looks cool from that angle, but then this wall kind of looks wonky with the setup that way. But yeah, I can live with it. Should also have a wall suitable. Not be a bad idea to have a med station available. somewhere in this area. Because I can't... There's a tricky wall to fit. Not really. Well, it's going to be tricky because Bob's got to pick that up before I can put anything down here. Bob, thank you. Once again, I have lost my welder. Come on. There we go. Med station. I mean, not much of a bedroom to sneeze at, but... it's just a simple little one-room structure. Well, two-room, I guess. Need to flip you around to the other side. And elite grinder for the lose. Let's see, that was interior console wall on the outside here. And regular interior wall on the inside. How am I doing daylight? Still daylight outside too. I want to probably move on to the runway next, actually, while I'm thinking about getting it positioned. Because we can always come back and tackle this once it's actually dark outside. Lighting, 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 lighting. Lighting in here is not too bad. I mean, I don't have my spotlights on. Bedroom's another story. This I do kind of need some lighting in. Let's see, can I access? Yes, I can. Good. Corner light number 161 in the scene. Granted, half of them are technically off by now. There we go. And I can come back through here and give myself a little splash of color at least. It's not much of a captain's quarters, but it'll do. Keep clear of locking mechanism. Keep hands away from latch. Okay, didn't even realize that was on the whatchamacallit there. All right, one bit of basic survival setup here. Everything you could possibly want in space, including a well-stocked fridge, and I just have to figure out how to get from up here down to here. But first, we need to work on the outside of the base here a little bit, and particularly because I would actually like to start getting a runway in and set, which is gonna be interesting. I've got some ideas on what I would like to do, but the problem is there's no taxiway for the runways. It's all just the runway pieces, so I'm kind of... What I've got in mind, that's a wide runway, that's a... How's that look? Yeah, there's no way that's gonna work. Well, not as my starter, at least. Let's grab the other runway. The non-wide. Oh my god, that's the non-wide? Holy crap. It's bigger than I thought. Oh, this is a lot bigger than I was thinking of. Because what I was thinking was I could actually kick them. I'm thinking like a taxiway off of... Do that, that'll help me see better. I was thinking a taxiway off of the main ramps here. Problem is that's going to be... Wow, hideously picky. Alright, let's do this then. So I'm definitely going to need to grind away at least.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
It's kind of backwards how this is lining up, because this really isn't where I'd be expecting to launch a ship from, but it fits, is the problem. Just a case of getting it to fit properly. And now prepare to watch my resources go down the drain. That is a massive 27,000 steel plates plus 5,000 required for that, plus another 9,000 metal grid for this one tiny little piece. But let's face it, when I've got the when I figure out what to do with the rover in here, that's actually going to look pretty darn impressive. Just gonna take 1,000,001 days just to weld that one piece up. I mean, seriously, I bet Bob is freaking out right now. What do you got? Metal grid, steel plate, yeah. And do I actually have... That's Izzy. I don't really care about Izzy right now. I'm worried about you. I don't think I have you set up to auto-craft, if I remember right. May just have to actually bite the bullet and adjust Izzy here if I can. Izzy, we need a lot more steel plates, so if you wouldn't mind queuing up. Yeah, go ahead and just go to town on that. Same thing with the metal grids. We're going to need a lot more of those too. So yeah, I'm going to need you to queue up a lot. Yeah, I might have to go mining for some of that. We'll find out. Because I doubt I've got enough cobalt for that. What do we got? Oh, actually, no, we're not too bad. 57.6k. It's just going to take Izzy the better part of a week to come up with that. And I don't know if I exactly agree with what Izzy's prioritizing right now. Because she's put steel on weight and the middle grid ahead of it. How are you splitting this out? Or are you even splitting this out? I can't get them that way. 40,000. Oh, actually, you are chewing through that. You're leaving the manual alone, which is good. Oh, yeah, this actually won't take that bad. Or won't take that long. But you're already about halfway there. Hey, we already got the first installment done and 8,000 on the second one. I can't complain about that. That's not doing too bad. Get worse once I start putting the extra shapes on here, because I mean, at that point, this is the best way I found to actually place the runway, by the way. Just do it in your V camera, because it's way too big to get done in spectator. Oh, that's right, I've given up all my steel plate to this thing too. That's a lot of it. Wow. Guess we're gonna see how well this is gonna work out, huh? I was planning something a bit more complex where it would be like a taxiway out to the runway, basically. But if I wanted to do that, I have to make it out of regular steel blocks and or armor blocks, and yeah, it's not gonna look all that great. All right, while we wait for that. Actually, I really can't do anything building there either, because that's going to be a problem too, because I need steel to do that. Well, I needed to start the runway at some point, let's be honest here. And I'm okay with that, because I wait for getting stuff for that. Let's see if I can work up here a little bit. Because I would dearly love to turn this into... Ooh, yeah, you are redlining still. Wow. Am I just out of power on the reactors on you, or... No. Plenty of uranium. What I want to do is start kind of drilling this out a bit more. Ooh. That sounded... Okay, mayday, mayday, mayday. I don't know what happened there. I was drilling fine. I stopped. And yeah, then that happened. Well, the good news is, I've got everything I need to, crap. Yep. Alright, Bob. How much did you salvage out of that before everything went boom? 13 motors. But I've got a full inventory of a bunch of other junk on me. I think we can salvage this. You've got some back thrust still, which I'm okay with. We can swap some of the side thrust around a little bit. I mean, that's just... I don't even know what I hit down here. Everything was drilling fine, and then it was just like, boom. Half that craft just went kablooey. Where did I even start drilling on that hill? I can't even... No, it was up here. It had to have been up here. Because that's the crater from the explosion in here. That was one of the pilot test holes to get to the silicon. It's trying to bottom this thing out so that way you could actually just go straight through into that thing, but that's not happening. Every mining ship must inevitably explode. I do not get why that is the case. But somehow it is. Give me a hand over here, and you've got no armor plates left at this point. Well, we can help with that. Not like this armored prow did me any good. And I think... How much do you have weigh right now? 21,000. I think I can live... Yep, you look good. Okay.
Inventory full.
Oh, you annoying little... At least I got the whatchamacallits in there. Where'd those parts go? You know, I don't like it when you start sending my parts all over the place, game. Let's see, you are... Actually, I guess I could just take the craft down and grab them from the bottom. I also noticed I am not possessed of a lot of hydrogen at this point either. We might as well see how bad. It's not too bad. It's a bit slow on the braking speed at this point. If I'm lucky, Bob should be able to pick them up from down here. Okay, so barely enough force to do that. Don't need the peg on the bottom of that anymore. Don't need that container, or that one. You're still piped in. The battery's still on the side and good. Drill's good. Let's give you an additional forward braking thrust. And... some additional rearward facing. That should help it out a bit. Yikes. Okay, it's the minor superleggera now. So let's put that battery online. That might have helped out quite a bit. Ooh, jar power is way overboard. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Yeah, she can't quite do that much, but she'll do enough. I mean, the other thing is, this is not the miner optimized for the job I'm using for, so I just wanted to take out some of the rough edges of this hill before I brought the other miner back in. What the heck the game thought I hit that warranted blowing apart half the craft, but apparently something. Who knows? Yeah, absolutely great redundancy on that thing. It stayed in the air. Well, I mean, let's face it. If there's anything that I have gotten good at in Space Engineers, thanks to uncooperative survival, it's redundancy and keeping something in the air even though half the craft is missing. Okay, that will work for clearing. Yes. Okay, so we need to now figure out even crappier terrain. There's probably some, like, random little bit of voxel just sticking up out of the ground. That tiny little leftover piece that always likes to get stuck. You know the one that, like, you get the rovers hung up on and suddenly half your rover disappears. Okay, that's a bit closer. Need to make this wider too. Yeah, that was... Some of this is probably pilot error at this point. Me hitting the voxels a bit too hard. Just trying to figure out a rough approach to how far out I want this to go. Or how wide I want it to be, realistically speaking here. Go that wide, that should work. What I want to do is bring out... Oh, and this thing was so happily parked in the hangar too. On the other hand, it's a lot easier to get it in and out of here now. There's also no landing gear for it at the moment either. So it's gonna have to land on the drill and... Yep. There we go. That works. She's good. She's down. It's good. Still in one piece. Through miracle of miracles, that 2 bobs and a cargo container, and just barely enough piping to keep the drills useful if I want to use them for anything. Alright, let's break you out. A little concerned with you and power, if I remember right. Especially because I can't pipe into... I can't pipe into that. Do I want to put another reactor underneath or not? Love to put another... actually, I could. Wasn't coming anywhere close to maxing out power on this thing. Now let's face it, if there's anything that's going to get scraped against the top of a cliff edge, that reactor was going to go first. I would have put money on that until about 10 minutes ago. Let's get an extra small 2-port reactor in here, just to be on the safe side. Because I feel a lot safer having some extra power on board. Okay, power should be off and on. Okay. Proper setting. Just because I know this thing was having some problems the last time I took it out and it got fully loaded. we're gonna set Pam to work here in a moment. Maybe the delivery company will bring me a new one. Well, I honestly, I kind of expected to be seeing some more stuff showing up. It's not showing up though, which is kind of interesting. Need to have a bit of a sit down with certain configurations after this week. See if I can figure out why that is the case, but okay, let's see if we can level you out. And the other thing I also need to do is really should build this up so it doesn't have to drive all the way back to the base. Also, to remember, I am running out of hydrogen. I probably should not be just hanging around here all that long. Ah, that's right, I need a sorter block on that. So I don't have a sorter block, it's not going to pull it. I mean, Bob, the drops will try to drain it quickly enough, but they're not going to be able to keep up. Sorter, please. Oh god, I've put a second sorter on a grid. All hell is about to break loose. Ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. Actually, leaving enough spare parts up here to get all of this built? Come on, Bobs. Just steel plate is what I'm short on. Can I salvage anything off of you? Not really, because there's no steel on that. Alright, that's okay. I'll go down and just refill down here. I mean, realistically, I could just, thank you. Could always just go into the manual, assembler and start kicking up some extra here. Or am I actually genuinely out of iron now? Have my plans for tonight changed again? Oh! Well, that's a new one. So in one night, I have gone through 109k of refined iron. Okay. Change plans. Need to borrow you. Unfortunately, the iron mine is one that's better suited for the horizontal miner. But, yeah, we need to have a chat. Go. Speed. Let's see if I can remember where it is off the top of my head. Alright, yeah, I can't remember where it is off the top of my head. There it is. Now I just have to hope I don't get the log bug trying to get there. Oh, come on, guys. That's just me using the heavy downwards thrust to my advantage on this design, that's all. Helps you get where you're going a lot quicker when you just kick up your heels. Design, we should like to go forward. Because this is the forward thrust nominally. What do I have on board here? Can't tell me I've legitimately got... Ah. Well, that's how it's fin... Ah. Aha! Well, there's your problem. Mr. Farrell did not empty out the inventory on the miner. Tisk, tisk, tisk. That's okay, it just gives me a chance to fly back to base real quick. I can't believe I left the nickel on this thing. That's a rookie mistake. Always make sure you've unloaded before you leave. Whether it's your car, your mining ship, your bladder. It also means you're going to be a royal pain at slowing down and stopping, too. This means I gotta... Oh, right. Now I remember why I didn't hook you up to anything. Because I didn't actually have anything to hook up to aside from the spaceship. The shuttle. That's right, slow down. You just do a little bit of swooping. This is what I call the leaf method of piloting here. So you can rock the ship back and forth while you're doing this, and effectively not have to worry about poor maneuvering. Alright, let's see if we can get some things emptied out here, because wow. That's ridiculous. Storage only. Izzy, if you could kind of grab some of this stuff, that would be great. Actually, if anything, if I remember right, I did hook it up to unload, and all the refineries got filled up. Not that I really need more nickel. I think I'm pretty good on nickel for the time being. It's 634k. That's not going to take much. Oh, yeah, there we go. Now I've got that springy responsiveness back. Now I can actually fly her like this if I want to. Not really, because you remember what happened the last time I tried it doing that. And that was how we proved that small ships could still phase through voxels. And yeah, I also know that the drill pattern on this is hideously inefficient. That I've got all those azimuth drills right next to each other and I could space them out and really do a number with this thing. That's possibly coming when I have to deal with the next bit of mining at that area there. Come on. There you go. It's almost like I managed to stop right on top of the iron. It's gonna suck though, because I know it's a very narrow... This is not a very deep pocket here. So I come down. Aside from the fact that I also don't need more nickel, but it's here. It's a very thin seam running through this particular rock here. So I'm not really getting much out of this. I need to potentially just mine this out real quick and then see if I can find a better ore pocket of it somewhere, which I'm sure there is. Somewhere out there. Drill's active. Let's see how we're doing down there. You are invisible still on the side. Still more iron. Okay. Actually, may get deeper on this whole side in this one spot. I think it's leveling out almost. Let's see if we can prove that. I'll go a little deeper here. Nope, that's the seam right at the height I'm at right there. So let's see. coast along the edge of it. Realistically, I don't need that much iron anyways. Just need enough to bring back to get it kick-started a little bit. A bit more. The thing I have to worry about is I am picking up stone at a vastly increased rate here. I can feel it just in how it's handling right now. I got way too much of it on board. Ejector and stone, if you please. Nope, can't do that. Yeah, you've got the capacity limits. Give me the connectors. Connectors are also full bore disengaging. Wow. Which I have on board right now. 51, 35, 59. Amount of stone, but you know, I've got 21... 25, oh, 25, 39. I've got a decent amount of that saved up here. Granted, a lot of stone, but how much do I have left down here? I mean, the other thing I've also got to remember is I can use Bob to help me out here. Just have to make sure that I've got all the onboard Bobs set properly. I'm going to be picking it right back up, and I don't want to. Stone and gravel are set to not be picked up or will be picked up. Good. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to back over to the hole. Get within Bob range. And just start helping out. Meanwhile, back at the ship, it's automatically dumping off all the crap I don't want. And also keep in mind if I need to just drill through the ceiling at any given point, if it'd be quicker. Looks like the nickel got pretty badly mixed in here, though. What I need is another little vertical miner to get in here, but I'm kind of actually not thinking little miner. It's been a little bigger. I mean, grand elite drill, so this is helping clear through this at a very quicker rate, but... And Merry Christmas to you, Luke Stewart. And Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. Whatever makes you happy and joyous this time of year. Whatever causes you have to celebrate, or whatever reasons you have to celebrate. Celebrate and enjoy. Like the fact that so far, tonight, I have yet to have a serious glitch in Keen. This little game. It's actually behaved itself tonight so far. So let us be thankful that that is at least the case. I'm sure by the time I go back to the base, it's gonna refute that and turn it into a massive LOD bug. Yep, looks like we've finished dropping off all of that. Bobs, you wanna pick up that iron down there? Might be out of range on it. Let's see if we can get closer. Bob, you wanna, come on, Bob. You got nothing to do, you're not trying to build anything. There we go, I can see it picking up. Perfect. Should have a fair bit of this stuff now, right? Iron. Oh, yeah. Can almost hand drill it faster than it's worth mining it up. That's another 100k. I'll probably go through that nice and quick, but... Let's recenter, and... I can't help it. That maneuver works so well to get the ship going again. And let's do something really foolish. Yep. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. Okay, let's pop for break about now. Ah, sweet. Not that far off. It's a little tricky to maneuver this thing when she is fully loaded, but fun as all heck. There we go. Alright, let's get you unloaded. Inventories first, please, if we can. Do what you can to spread out some of that iron, because boy, do you need it. At this point, I'm having to tell Izzy how to distribute this. It's not exactly a good sign. Shouldn't have any more in the drill heads, I believe. Yep, we're clear. Okay. Yeah, I do need to add some more thrust to this thing. I just know it's gonna chew up a lot of power. I'm tempted to actually stick hydrogen engines on this, if anything. Just because the getting the extra oomph and everything, and, well, I'm sitting on a freely available source of it. Perfect. Alright, that should make Izzy happy. How far did we get anyways before this ran out? Oh, I'm just down to the metal grids we need. Ooh. I should have plenty of iron for that. I could actually... My gut just said I could actually start up the next section of runway. But that would probably not be a good thing. It's going to take a while to build that iron back up. It gets 58.7k, and steel plate is ramping up slowly. Let's knock off the prioritization on that to 10,000. I should be more than enough. I should probably turn off well, so that's the problem with Izzy. She's now going to deconstruct what she put out there. Even though I don't want her to deconstruct it because I just want her to leave it alone. But if I don't leave deconstruct on, then it's going to constantly keep going back and not dealing with my tools, which kind of sucks. Okay, there we go. Slight Q on that, and then the grids should... Yeah, the grids should have priority on it, but they're going to need a lot to catch up. Actually, I could do the same thing here. Let's re-queue you to 6,000. Because you'll keep building it. Well, it's still going to need it. Yeah, it's not going to change. It's going to change a little quicker. How are we on? Bull, cobalt. No, nickel's not a problem. We know that for sure. Cobalt should be good. Check the storage. Yeah, plenty of that stuff sitting around. Iron, wow, look at that. The iron's already back up to 125, 131,000. So that's gonna work out pretty nicely. Look, I am doing pretty good. Everything is going pretty nicely. Can't complain. Got my Christmas tree up here. Spacebar's lovely little Christmas tree ported over from Medieval Engineers. Got a runway starting to go up in the distance here. It's it's gonna take a while, but it can be done. You can place it in survival. It's just a pain to do it. Oh, but this is gonna be so worth it. The fact that I've got this set up right off the edge of the ramp here. Alright, well, the good news is we're going to be okay on iron steel plates now. So I can actually, while we're jumping around, jump all the way back to what I was going to start doing here. It's just working on picking up some stuff so I could actually build the outside of the landing ramp here. Yikes, does this need to get finalized. Let's kind of do... do I want to do that? Over here I just did a corner element on it. You know, an inverted leg almost, which will, it'll kind of work over here. This is definitely a heavy-duty platform, so it would need some chunky legs to hold it up. Switch back over to our titanium white. And just give the landing pad a little bit of a nudge on the outside. Something to kind of help set it apart from the rest of the platform, and just give it that extra special look. I can't talk to you about brush strokes, but I can talk to you about potentially the keyboard button stroke and timing your pulsing of your thrusters properly to engage a smooth, steady action along as you build. Can't help it. I was watching some Bob Ross on Twitch the other day, and like it or not, I mean, the man is a genius, but there's just some of the stuff that goes on. It's like, wait a minute, what? Did you just said that? I guess I'm not recommending beating the crap out of brushes, you know? Where is our tip? What that tip specifically? Oh man, those iron plates are taking... Oh, I know why this is going so slow. The system's prioritizing on the runway. Izzy's producing enough metal girders to keep up with a steady pace of demand there, and it's deprioritizing what I'm working on over here. What I need to do is... There's an even closer access port I can use for this sort of thing. Storage. Nope, not that one. Nope, 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 nope. Personal inventory, please. I even have... Wow. I even had that iron in my inventory. We will put our mining ship to some use here. And flick that sucker back on. Should I have it? No, I don't have a jet off. Should be more than enough to help me out with that little bit. Oh, there we go. Runway is now complete. Well, the start of it. Oh my god. Can't believe it. It's perfect. It's imperfectly, and... Let's see if I can figure out the proper notation for what the degrees should be on here. I apologize for all the aviation folks that I'm probably really going to piss off right now. I know they're based off degree headings. And this is really an odd degree. I think I'd actually have to go off of the opposite angle, if anything. This So this would be runway, is it based off of just direction and the number of degrees after? Because I know they're always low numbers, like 0 through, 20, 30. You don't hear anything like runway 33 right, or 333, So if I'm going off of, let's say, the west runway, and we'll call that one, northwest would be, it's northwest, which would be 45. Northwest would be half of 45, on top of 45. This does not sound right, but we will try it. Okay, show text on screen. No. Here's the other problem with the runway. It doesn't... Text isn't large enough for it. I like the idea that they built the LCD into that to be able to do that so you could label your runways, but yeah. You're thinking 31. I'm not sure what the runway... Hang on. I'm at the point where now I have to actually look this up. Airport runways are numbered according to the compass bearings. This means runway numbers are based on the compass. 365 or 360 on north, 90 east, 180 south, and 270 representing west. Runways are numbered between 1 and 36. Ah. That doesn't make any sense because then they just said that... What? That's interesting. Last number... Oh, for runway headings, the last number is dropped and each individual number is pronounced. Okay, so what we're really looking at here is not runway 70. I'm not going to name it runway 1. I want this to be somewhat realistic. I mean, going for pretty close to stable here, or somewhat realistic if relaxed survival. This would be runway 33. Roughly. And then what I would do is at the other end of the runway, the number for that would be... Oh, that just looks like EE from this angle. That's great. That would be like it'd be 17 or something along those lines. So that's how that would work out. If you've ever been curious about how runway numbers work, take the compass heading, divide by 10. Round. And that's pretty much what you got. Platform. We've got a little bit of a lip on it, which I like. Let's continue that around this side. I need steel plate because I unloaded all of the steel plate I was carrying. Grab it all. I think what we're going to do on this side is actually put in some stairs down. So this is just going to kind of end on this edge here. Put some happy little stairs off the back of the platform. Yeah, what I might have to do is actually lay out the rest of the runways offline and just actually let the game sit there for a while in the background while it builds everything, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to do anything, and it's going to be a lot of mining to make that happen too. Next issue is I want to do some sort of... It's going to sound weird when I say it, but like netting along the side of this. So I'm actually going to... I think I should be able to clear this edge. Minecraft a void building experience at the work here. play Agrarian Skies until you learn how to be comfortable teetering on the edge of the void, and Minecraft doesn't exactly have, or Space Engineers doesn't exactly have shift to stay on top of anything. Thinking catwalks here, and do I want to do UOH's catwalks or not for this? It's kind of got the thicker mesh to it. But it's also centered, which is not going to work out well for that. That one's not, and we're already on white. Ton of interior plate for that too. Need to pipe a cargo access point out to that side of the platform. It's having to walk halfway across my base to get one piece of equipment. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Ryder, is crash netting. Because I can put that on the outside. Crash netting / foreign object retention, I guess you could call it. But primarily, yes, if you put down at a bad angle, crash netting to obviously keep massive chunks of, you know, rotors and whatnot away from people. I have to compromise on my stair design over here, though, I suspect. I can live with that. I like the idea of a realistic take to this, and it forms a natural barrier for this whole area too. What I do is find that tip again. Get rid of that wide run, right? Because I'm sure as heck not putting that down anywhere. Holy moly. Resources of trying to get that up and running would be hideous. Perfect. Entryway in. Get a nice little safe helipad here that can also accommodate some corner lights, hopefully. Will you let me do this, UOH? Yes, perfect. Just because there is no lighting out here yet, so let's make sure that if you're landing here at night, you at least know the bounds of where you're landing. Granted, the Christmas tree provides a little bit of landing site illumination, but not a lot. Probably do is just kind of stick some ground lighting in support as well around the middle. It's kind of hard to judge. And stick the mining ship perfectly on its landing there. Alright. I never noticed this before. It's actually raised ever so slightly. The painted area on the edge there. Just a little bit of a shadow coming out because of the time of day and everything. Let's see. Buttons, buttons, buttons. Buttons have control panels on them. Alternate the landing lights like navigational lights. That's where I actually... That actually is where I would wind up drawing the line, amusingly enough, because trying to get coordinated lighting and then coordinated blinking lighting. Ooh, boy. That's quite a bit. Pretty happy with that. Let's finish off our legs down here because I never got the ones on the other sides. Still a little worried that I haven't been visited by anyone, haven't seen anyone in a while on this planet. I mean, they're definitely out there, and they're definitely up in space, but they seem to be content at not trying to take any of my resources down here. I'm worried once word gets out that I'm sitting on top of several lucrative veins of ore that might change. But, you know, this is what I need to create quality paints, is lots of minerals and everything. Okay. Should give me my nice dark base now. With a little bit of daylight still peeking through the sky there, but... I like it. It's lit better than... certainly lit better than it was before now. I mean, you couldn't see anything over here at night, normally. Oh, boo-hoo. I took some damage. Is that big of a drop, you little pansy? If you're that injured, you probably wouldn't have been running like that to the medbay. You probably would have been limping. Please, God, Keen, don't implement that. That's the last thing we need on top of all the wonky stuff. Alright, stairs on this side. Let's... might still be able to pull this off. So really, I'm kind of thinking more ramp than anything else. Oh, you're not gonna... there's another issue I have. Can't very easily... For instance, this is definitely not going to work because it's going to complain about the catwalks in the way. I don't know if it's going to complain about it if I use the one without the rails. Yeah, it is. Darn it. Can I kind of trick you, game? I can. And in such a way that it actually works better for going downhill, because I can actually build off of the existing ramp. Means I'm not going to have the rail on it, though, annoyingly enough, so I'll have to concoct some sort of outside railing or blocks to go along the wall. I can live with that for having building in that tight. Nice little access ramp. I am happy with that. Want to protect from walking off the side. So I could just go with the default, cross it over one block higher. How's the sun coming back out? What in the... Again, you got some splaining to do. What the heck? How is this a realistic sunset? I cannot see the sun behind the mountain. And yet my base is being completely illuminated by sunlight. Bob Ross never had to deal with this, you know? Just saying. Bob never had to deal with Keen. All he really would have had to deal with on a bad day was a bad batch of paint. Maybe a bad brush. There. Close enough. I probably should... Yeah, let's give it the dark green on the outside there. Otherwise it kind of looks a little odd. At least now it kind of looks like it has a structural purpose almost. Or at least it will as soon as I add a little bit of happy little detail back here. As soon as the game gives me the right armor. There we go. Could even go to the point of mirroring it on this side as well. Let's see how that's going to work. Yeah, it's not that bad of a look. Kind of evens out the color on both sides of the rail now. Gives that structure a bit more reason to exist. It's extra support in a ways for this platform. A nice safe landing area to engage in now that you can actually see it from up in the air. And what else? What else? What else? What else? Finger is itching to lay down another piece of runway. It wants to do it. Alright, let's get into that mode. Did you actually place, or no you didn't? You made sound like you were placing, but you have not placed. This is a conundrum then. What? Oh wow, this thing's gonna be a. I did. What? Maybe I don't have. I know when I placed that one down, I at least saw an outline of it. Make sure I'm not in the runway proper. Yeah, I don't have block placement there. I've got armor on, steel plate on me. Ian? Why your thingy not worky? Tell me about an unknown signal, but you won't let me place a block here, apparently. Alright. Let's see what's going on. I'll grab the spectator camera. Because inevitably, this problem is only born of one thing, and that is something stuck below the ice, preventing me from doing any building. What in God's name are you? Okay. Well, let's engage creative mode tools. Going to do the annoying thing, transport myself underground. Let's see if I can get whatever the heck this is and get rid of it. Yeah, you're acting like something is here, but okay. Here's the best part. Now I am stuck underground, so I have to re-engage the spectator camera. This is called Stupid Keen Tricks, by the way. To do that, to get back out from underground. Now I can turn my creative mode tools off. Alright, let's... Why is the sun coming up again? What the... Is Superman flying around the planet somewhere here? What the heck is going on, Keen? Because this is making absolutely no sense. There's no sun. It's like down on the horizon. Case in point, let's go down to the horizon level itself. The sun on this planet is now at this level with the skies. With the sky the way it is. There's the sun right here. And that's confirming that, yes, I should not have any sunlight coming from that sun. Why? Why can't they make voxels that actually eclipse light properly? Alright, let's see. You acted like you placed it, but then you did something weird. You've done that thing again, haven't you? Yep. Now, I could understand Bob not going for this, because it's entirely possible Bob's not within range. So let's give the system the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I just need to get something over there. It's got some steel plate still, which I should have a little bit left here. See if we can find out if this will start building anything for me. Maybe it's just not doing the preview of the model right. Well, you're trying to weld something. I don't know what, though. So I'm going to have to go on the assumption that everything is indeed placed right there, that I just need to run a bob out here. Alright. Tell you what, we need to extend the cargo network here. Get some lakeside coverage in here, and... yeah, navigation light, whatever. You are... I have a good spot I can tap in here. Legit, I do not have... Right, because you're just a converter... Converter for that. Angled one at that point, even if I remember right. Let's see if I can get a T-shaped one. There. Nope. Tunnel. Nope. Maintenance. Airlock cube. Curved maintenance adapter cube. Need an adapter T. Maintenance cube, adapter tube. That's what we're looking for. I know your brakes are on. When you have enough time to actually do that. Good job on that, Keen. Power update leaves a little to be wanted. Is grinding down out here. Why do I hear something grinding away? Bob? What are you doing? This is the thing I would expect to see go up. Okay. Confusion very much. Right. Don't know what Bob's doing. He's having a nervous breakdown, apparently. So... that's what we're going to want in that spot. We'll grab a connector. Probably going to have to move the rover. Yeah. Okay. We can do that. Can't believe Bob is not ground that down. Oh, what you up to? It's a neutral, unpowered grid. Get rid of it. There we go. Alright. So now I just need one more adapter tube, or cube, so it'll just look like a normal tunnel wall going down. And we can start curving it around and under. Actually, that's not... Let's figure out where we want to run this first. Oh, come on! A 2-inch lip is enough to kill me? Keen. That was not reason to cause death and dismemberment. That's this little lip here. That was just enough to kill me. Oh boy. That's okay. Bob can deconstruct it because I'm just gonna pick up my replacements anyways. So pick up the O2 bottle replacements anyways while I'm there, and then also that's the downside you pay for having a Izzy who is helping you in all manner of everything. With keeping your inventory under control, she will keep it under very tight control. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, what I was trying to do was going out here. I want to get a GPS point on the end. Or not the end, but at least somewhere further out on the runway here. So that way I can head in the right direction. The great thing about this is when I hit the ice, I can switch over to mining, and the bobs are going to start picking all the ice up. Not that I really need a lot more ice, but actually, I guess I do. New GPS point. Gonna be 33, and let's go drill. Death by stubbed toe, courtesy of Keen. No. Keen, I want to stay up near the top, please. Stop angling me down by default. Good news is I've also got the green stripe to follow out on this, so let's be honest, that's always an option too. Look at this. The voxels are so glitched out under here as being lit up at night. Or at sunset. I want you to stay up. Stop drilling down. Keen. I'm losing direction too. Over this way. Nope, that's platform, my friend. I don't want you drilling platform. Okay, so we have just enough clearance to get through this section, kind of. We'll drop it down one underneath platform proper. Can't see when I got that dust right in my eyes there like that, and actually no. There's one thing that will fix this. Thank you. Now I won't have a completely backlit cloud of dirt in my eyes. I'm just gonna have a cloud, period. Why are you drilling the runway? In what universe does this make sense that pointing horizontal would be drilling the runway? All I want to do is just get a little bit of Norwegian blue in my field of view here. And now apparently I'm stuck. He really needs to do something about the hand drilling. It's not exactly working. in my opinion. I know I'm flying, ergo my legs are completely ignoring gravity technically right now, probably, if I were to be able to get in that view, but... Oh, hey, now the game has decided to, wedge me in again. Oh, no, there we go. Now, that would be why my drilling suddenly got silent. Wow. My brain hurts. It really does sometimes. Come on. That's right, because I've got to engage my crouch again to get anywhere. All this for one tiny little maintenance tube. Why am I crooked? Ugh. Maybe I should just actually go back and start laying pipe. Find out just how crooked my tunnel is here. Alright, tunnel maintenance. You're gonna need to do two things here. I need this tunnel to actually be accessible to the outside world, so I'm actually thinking about putting a maintenance adapter here if I can. Just don't know if I can do it with a closed... I can. It'll work. Do it with a closed box and stick it here. Interior plate. Okay, well... I don't have enough inventory room for that right now, game, so... How about I trade you some ice, and you give me some interior plate? Keen. Interior plate. Get rid of that. Please give me some interior plate. Thank you. It's like the relative that you don't get along with that you have to see for the holidays, and... you just know it is going to be a long, drawn-out pain dealing with them. Another maintenance T. Not a T-shaped adapter, though. I want this to be a straight-up QT, so that way the sidewalls up here and here attach to it properly. Adapter. Cargo, and... oh, come on. T-shaped maintenance cube. That's what I'm looking for. Alright. There we go. There we go. Alright, now I can get in and out from the cargo bay here. Now we'll switch over to our regular maintenance tube. Where the heck the selector for it is. These are lovely icons for it, but they're hard to pick out sometimes. Curved, regular maintenance. That needs drilling out. We're gonna find out just how far I can go before I need to start thinking about putting bobs in here. Which I should be able to get out to the end of the ramp at least, and at least part of the way to the runway. Close to the drop, so let's put... yeah, that's working. Under runway access tunnels, Die Hard 2. Well, let's be honest. If we are going to be doing anything invoking Die Hard. 'Tis the season to do it. Because remember, the holidays don't start till the Hans drops. Out of interior plate. Oh, come on, really? Thank you, Bob, for fixing that up for me. Let's get a lot more interior plate this time around, I think. By that, I mean a lot. 84. I mean, let's be honest, it's not like there's a Bob and Die Hard either, you know? Alright, let's see if that frees it up enough. Perfect. Aside from this spot here. This is probably where I started getting off on the angle I was going through. Because that's the runway proper right in front of me here. So I lost my guidance. That's how I started drifting. Okay, now everything makes sense as to why everything went cattywampus on me. Can I get... It's gonna be tricky placement on this one. Yep, that's not cleared out. Okay, you know what I'm thinking is I'll probably actually just do a T right out here. Get a bob down right now, because... Actually, two bobs, I should say. I want to do one either side of this module. Which means I need to find that maintenance force side. That's not the right force side I was thinking of. That's what I'm thinking of. Perfect. Let's get our bobs in place here, shall we? Either side of the tunnel. And my bobs are all pre-canned now, so I can just turn them on. All of their settings are properly in place for everything. Actually, how does it look from up? But the sun was... Oh, right, because I had to fast forward because it was showing everything underneath due to the underground sun glitch. Why do I even question this game anymore? Yep. Really makes me wonder sometimes. Alright, so now I know what the level is down here I need to be at. And I've got two bobs framing the direction to go. So over the... under the river and through the ice to the end of the runway we go. Should at least be a lot closer now. In fact, I'm actually surprised that this stuff is building, because if the runway... I'm not seeing that second piece finished off out here. So whatever's going on, it's... I can actually probably even use this to kind of sight myself in. Yeah, look at that, I'm way off course already again. How did I go off? Runway 20... Don't ask. Let's just get more tunnel in. let the tunnel be the guide and help us out. Tunnel shall show us the way. Right? Like, for instance, I need to clear out that side. I'm not trying to place a... Why do you think I'm trying to work on a small ship right now, Keen? I'm underground, surrounded by nothing but large grid parts. For a company that claims to have good AI, the predictability of the user interaction with the environment around them sucks. Die Bob, yeah, there we go. It would have changed the whole tenor of the movie if it was just Bob that you had to deal with. Let's not split that before the tunnel's under construction, please. There we go. Oh yeah, way off. What I really need is a small grid drill rig that could fit into this somehow, and I don't think it would... It might be possible to fit a small ship in here. It'd have to be a single drill, very tiny, remote control. No way they'd have to be able to have a cockpit or even a seat on it. I wonder if that is possible. It would almost make it like a, that would actually be pretty close to a tunnel boring machine, if anything. Especially if it's got something like it's, capable of building into, I mean, you could fit a small ship Bob through there. You'd have to have some way to be able to project a large grid off of it. Or you just have a projector that moves along as part of the large grid that gets built, as part of the tunneling. And this bears some investigation, but potentially. I could kind of see that having some pretty interesting uses. You could actually have your cargo network automatically built by Bob and have projectors along a certain distance. So, that's what I want. Clean you out. Come on, Keen. Come through. I know I'm trying to fly underground, and this flies in the face of everything you think is possible. And again, spacesuits flying underground is kind of in the realm of impossible. Pretty sure you can't take an MMU down a mine shaft and fly it around with impunity. But yeah, it should technically be possible that you could have a tunnel, like you said, Galdus, a tunnel crawler. Come on, get rid of that debris. Thank you. Not too far away from the end of the runway here, so... Let's actually take a peek with the spectator camera. Tell because of a little bit of a fair distance to go. Probably a good spot to consider spacing out the next wave of Bobs here. Certainly not going to need to worry about ice for a little while, too. Finding the advantages where I can. Welcome to the land of ice and snow. It's a dimension made of ice and snow, where snowflakes fall constantly 24/7. Be careful, because you have entered the I am now stuck underground zone. Wedged me in there rather nicely. The, There we go. That's what I'm looking for.
Energy low.
Oh, great. Energy low. That's thank you, thank you, what's your name, Betty? Thank you, Betty, for letting me know my energy is low, because, you know, I can really do something about that right now. As soon as I manage to fly back. Oh, hang on. Well, no, we'll say that's just ice buildup. Condensation in the tunnels. Oh, that's actually cool. Did you, you can hit these at just enough speed to go up over the edge on them. I didn't even realize that was possible. Still have to go out this way for that, but... yeah, that's right. I can just pop into here. Alrighty. Bob as the hero might be okay, but as the enemy, McClane would need to upgrade to elite tools to cope with them. Well, I mean, okay, here. Well, let's put it this way: if Hans had Bob in Die Hard 1, the vault door would not have been a problem. I mean, at that point, yeah, we don't need to make the FBI knock out the power. You just grind down the entire vault in like 10 seconds. So that would kind of put a damper on that. But then again, at the same time, is one of the fun things about watching movies that you used to love is that it's so simple to go back to those movies and say, let's introduce one key piece of technology and see what happens to the entire premise of the movie. And that technology is inevitably the cell phone. Take Die Hard, introduce a cell phone. Suddenly, John McClane has a cell phone inside the Nakatomi Plaza. A camera phone, no less, we might add. That would be more than capable of being identifiable by the police as, hey, this is a legit call, not a prank call for 911. You know, just that alone. Or, you know, camera call, or camera phone, so he could pass along intelligence to the FBI waiting outside. You know, send us a picture of, you know, who these terrorists are if you can. Let us know who we're really dealing with. What are they doing? Makes you think about that sort of stuff. Then again, at the same time, that would be pretty much about every episode of Lassie ever made. Would kind of become a moot point. Unless Lassie has a Google phone. Can't think you can really get a dog to say, hey Siri, or anything. That's right, I need to turn these guys on too. Bubbo on. And Bubbo on. Actually gonna drill out to the outside here past the end of the runway, because I'm gonna have to do it anyways. I want to find the surviving piece of the next piece of runway legitimately. The edge. There it is. I can almost see daylight through the glitched voxels. Freedom! Horrible, horrible freedom! Okay, so... where is... let's position this properly. Well, no, it's still being worked on. Bob's found something to do with it. Yep, there it is, because I can see the... I don't know what to do with that, legit. Is it just acting as a giant sink on my resources right now, or is it actually legitimately building something? John McClane, there you go. I like that, guys. Let's see. There's lots of grids being produced. I'm not short on plates, but steel plates are definitely in production. I can't... I don't believe I can find these parts by looking in the inventory menu either. Actually, I would find one of them because of the LCD. Let's see if I can find what you would be legit called here. Runway start end. Yeah, so why weren't you showing up? No, that's right, I probably saw it and I was skipping over it because it was a different color. I can find the start, but I'm probably not gonna... You just finished, didn't you? Yep, runway middle. Well, guys, it works. It just doesn't actually render the right parts in. Oh, boy. Be one point in the asteroids that you can't get rid of. Yep. That's just crazy. Flipper would be okay, Farrell. There's not too many waterproof phones. Excellent point. However, the people watching Flipper would have cell phones. So. Now, probably going to regret this question. The problem is there's no way, no junction for these things, unfortunately, yet, as I recall. Which is kind of a shame. Yeah, it must be because I didn't have the bobs out here, so it wasn't working on this very well. And then I've got the bobs in closer proximity, it's happier. How long of a runway do I realistically need here? It's just as a heads up, I think we're coming up on end of stream here. No, it's going to be a little shorter for you guys on the VOD because of me not hitting the right button right off the bat, unfortunately, but it's also going to keep me within the 4-hour limit because I know I had a message saying last one of the streams a little while ago that the 4-hour limit is definitely still kicking in, which is odd because like every other, like twice a month it doesn't, and then the rest of the time it seems to. Got a nice little self-contained hover pad. We've got the start of a runway. Got the start of the inside of the base here. Just trying to angle for a good shot. Something where I can make it look like the runway is actually finished when it's not. What I'm probably going to do, guys, is actually get the rest of the runway built off stream. Take a little time and just let the base go through and do up some additional iron mining, because obviously I don't want to be doing that on camera. It's ridiculously boring to watch, let's be honest. Like that. You can see me down there. You can see almost everything there. Yeah, I want to see there's still the helipad, but I want to get some of that structural detail I put in the back of the hangar there. Not done yet, but close, I think. That is good. And oh, that's right. Let's do the fancy pan. Get the camera in position first here. So if I've got the group survival music going, then I might as well at least get a proper pan in place. But I think that is going to call it there, folks. Thanks for hanging out with me while I've been going through my little building monologue here. No, I'm not always 100% on the ball when it comes to going through the creative process and keeping up a good chain of thought and entertainment and whatnot. So it is glad tidings for me here that you guys were able to accompany me tonight. And as I've been saying at the start of the stream, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, good Yule tidings, whatever you celebrate, even if you don't celebrate anything, celebrate the cause of being together this holiday season. And I will catch you guys next week with some more Battletech and possibly stream tomorrow. Still trying to figure out what my plans are. If I do stream tomorrow, it will probably be some one-off space engineer stuff, not anything on the survival, relaxing world here. Anyways, thanks guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.